welcome to Parasorting.
you know, 1,000-mile plates doing the same thing, what do you think you're going to get? You get a lot,
Yeah.
you're going to get a lot into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And that's going to affect people and that's going to affect things and that's going to be a deal. Absolutely. No, I don't make light of that at all. That's a very big deal. This may not be completely on topic, but I just like to throw it in here because hell, I'm in the right setting,
Yeah.
My daughter, who got her degree in climate science, for a while pursued a minor in Native American studies and had the good fortune to be connected with Native American elders in Wisconsin. And I asked her, okay, some people say Native Americans came over a land bridge from Asia, and some people say they came from Polynesia. Both of those have evidence to back that up. And I believe both are probably true.
Mhm.
They're not all the same. Americans view them as all the same. They never viewed themselves as all the same. They viewed themselves as 200 different 200's just a big number,
Yeah.
but many different nations.
Yeah.
But I asked her, so where do they say they came from? You said according to the elders, they were always here. They didn't come from anywhere. And she brought up the word Pangea. And I had to go Google that because I didn't know what necessarily Pangea meant. But yes, like once upon a time, all the continents were together.
Yeah.
And then they spread apart. And they said, no, we've always been here. We didn't come from anywhere. We were always here. And that was the light bulb went on in my mind. And then I was doing some research on an unrelated topic, and a Native American scholar has published something about horses. Because conventional history says, even though the fossil record shows that there were horses in prehistoric America, the historical record says Native Americans did not have horses until they stole them from the Spanish. And the elders of a number of tribes have said, no, that's bullshit. We always had horses. We had horses forever. We can't remember a time we didn't have horses, and we go back 15,000 years. So we always had the horses. Okay. Yes, they brought their own horses, but we had our own horses. And that's become a topic. And it's a thing that I don't have definitive proof, but it makes sense to me.
Well,
especially because, like, if you never seen a horse, and some, again, they're not all the same, and that's the mistake we make. Like, the Aztecs may never have seen a horse, but the Sioux may have been very familiar with horses. And because they live very different lifestyles, they weren't the same. Americans, pilgrims, and pioneers made them sound all the same. They never thought about themselves like that. And some tribes definitely had horses way before Columbus. And, they horses were part of their culture. And they're like, yeah, the invaders brought their own horses, but we had our own horses. Why wouldn't we have horses? And that seems relevant that there's a lot of history that's undecided. And there's a lot of history that is inaccurate and still has huge biases to this very day. And the Pangea thing kind of freaked me out. It's like, wow, what if that was true? What if they'd always been here? What if multiple groups had always been here? And then, like, the earth moved us apart, because the Appalachian Mountains and the Scottish Highlands used to be the same mountain range.
Yeah.
But they moved over thousands and thousands of years. They moved very far apart. That doesn't mean they weren't at one time together. So yeah, that was fascinating to me. Go ahead.
Another easy way to show how much time has passed in human history. I unfortunately cannot remember the name of the people, but there's an ancient Sudanese people that built pyramids way before Egypt. And the pyramids are so old that they're actually weathered away.
Yeah.
So what we see,
they look like a mountain.
What we see now is not what was there. And they've used LiDAR, so we've learned a little bit, but they were a massive race that was, I think, global. I think
they were global.
I think they had ships and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's so far back in human history, so much is gone.
Absolutely. And a lot was built out of wood.
Yeah.
And wood doesn't last very long compared to stone. And so, but that doesn't mean they didn't exist. It's just we can't find them right now, Well, that's the thing.
With LiDAR, some of those things are just now, because of current advancements in LiDAR, they're just now able to pick out the holes where wooden pillars used to be, and we've had this technology for about 30 years, but now they're able to do it so accurately they can get down to like a mile beneath the surface.
I think more than that, because
they can go further, but
they're using it
further you go, less accurate you are.
They're using it in the Mediterranean. I think it's near Greece. There's this massive lake that is just filled with cities all around it. Well, the lake is the caldera, I think, of a volcano, and it's sinking or raising. So they're using LiDAR to keep an eye on the lava chamber, because they're gonna
it's raising again.
And they're gonna have to evacuate like tens of millions of people in multiple countries, I think. So I think LiDAR can go a lot farther. But I think their LiDAR might be satellite, so it might be different. It might be, I'm not sure.
It's I know what you're talking about. They're measuring. They have a clear view of the lava chamber, and they can see, because of the tracking of data, they're seeing that it's starting to fill up again.
Oh boy.
And they can see that the bottom of the lake is rising, and so they know at some point it's going to go.
I mean, I assume that they're going to give a warning so people can get the hell out of there, because that looks like it's going to blow at some point. That's what I picked up from it.
And I love that we all know it's going to happen. The US has done absolutely nothing to store like food stores in case of preparation. It's just the Scandinavian countries are the only ones who made the seed bank.
Yep. Well, now
yeah.
They have one in Canada now.
Oh, thank God. And there's two.
Of course they do, because
I think it's in Manitoba.
I'm sure the seed banks are actually surprisingly like super top secret. Like the Scandinavia has like allowed them to show videos and inside, but like it's like you have to have a high security clearance to even know where it is.
That's what
I'm sorry, but a seed bank is just good for everyone. There's no politics in food. There shouldn't be,
but there is
no politics in food.
And it ends up being a huge political thing. Yes. Except at the same time, at least the Scandinavians and the Canadians have one.
Yeah.
You know, I hope we have one, but it's just like too secret to talk about, which means I don't think we have one
I
because we
think
tend to think like a few days into the future. You know,
Yeah.
we don't tend to think, long term. If I hear about gas prices one more time,
Oh.
I won't be responsible for my reaction. Okay.
I think the sourdough
Yeah.
library is in the US.
Yeah.
There's a sourdough library in the US.
And
Well,
they have the live cultures of sourdough, different
And
from
they
different
feed them so that they keep them alive.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. I was informed that we might be running out of brie cheese because the bacteria are dying out.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's not life and death, but I hate to lose it.
Well,
It should
it's
be preventable.
so the thing is the smallest things can have the biggest impacts. Like I saw a salamander for the very first time ever in my life this year or last year, and that's
Oh wow.
huge deal because the salamanders and the frogs are disappearing. And most people aren't paying attention because they're like, oh, it's just a salamander. It's like, no. That is they are like what do they call it when something is the
Canary in the cave?
yeah,
Canary
yeah.
in the mine, yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
used to put
so
canaries in mines because if the canary dies, yeah, you're next. So get the hell out of there. You know?
yeah, so the bacteria breed could just be the beginning.
Yeah. Well, change happens, and in the next 15 years, they've
Oh
already
boy.
started growing bananas here.
Oh yeah.
In
They're
Canada.
testing bananas in Canada and
Yeah.
coffee
And coffee.
and cactus pears too.
Yes. And we also have we in this I think it was this year we had our first pressing of olive oil from the
Oh my
islands here.
God. Yeah, that's true. We have an
Wow.
olive farm now. And like it's one part it's like, "Oh, that's going to be so wonderful," but it's also like
It's scary.
we're too far north for these things. Like we live in the Hawaii of Canada, but we still should not be able to grow these things. This is
Yes,
not a
it's
good thing.
disturbing. I can tell you, I mean, I'll just speak freely. It's 75 degrees right now. I'm halfway through October in Wisconsin. When I grew up, this was cold as hell. Okay. I sweated through my shirt today. It's not supposed to be this hot.
Yep.
And yeah, we're actually in a really good spot because the Midwest around the Great Lakes, we're not going to die. that came off maybe a little excessive, but no, we're going to be okay. Unfortunately, when I'm an old man, this may be like Florida.
Yeah.
Because the real Florida will be underwater. And I'm going to have to explain to my grandkids, great grandkids, that no, Florida was real. Yeah, sure it was, like Atlantis, whatever. But no, Florida will not make it.
No. It's already been shown with the storms.
Oh,
Yes.
And it's unfortunate and it's horrible.
Oh, it's not, I totally don't say that with anything except sympathy and empathy. We're losing the coasts.
Yep.
The East Coast, and if we weren't total dumbasses, we'd start moving everything towards Nebraska and Kansas and that neck of the woods. Get the capital out of there, get the Library of Congress out of there, get everything out of there. Because we're losing the East Coast, we're losing the West Coast, or we're losing the Gulf Coast. It's like if intelligent, educated people could sit around in 1930 and talk about what was going to happen, they could see World War II was coming.
Yep.
we can see a level of climate change that is going to lose all three coasts is coming. That's what's going to happen. And we need to adjust to that and move everything towards the center, which is going to be fine. And the Great Lakes region is going to be fine, except it's going to be hotter than hell. I lived for a while in Pensacola, Florida, and hated it. No offense to anyone who loves it, but it wasn't for me. One, it was so hot all the time. Also, roaches never die. They just get bigger and able to fly. And yeah, it wasn't for me. I was so happy to come back to Wisconsin and freeze to death. But it's 75 degrees. I set the air conditioning at 75, and it's been going all day. And we're towards the end of October. That's crazy. That's not how it was when I was growing up. We don't get, it's not like that. It's really happening.
I remember because I grew up in Indiana and I was in Lake County, so I was right below Lake Michigan. I remember freezing to death on Halloween because I'm getting that candy, and it would be below freezing. It would be snowing, and those Halloween costumes are like nylon stupids, and you'd have your winter coat on. And I remember it would be so cold, we would get into the car, drive to the next house, run out, get our candy, go back in the car, drive to the next house, run and get our candy. And now it's like beautiful Halloween weather.
Yes. Well, the Green Bay Packers played today, and they played in Green Bay, which used to be referred to as the frozen tundra. It was 75 degrees. These guys are sweating. The field is like wet,
Yep.
It's humid. It's late October. What the hell's happened? You don't have to be an activist to see this. You just need to look out the window, What the hell? But we're not doing anything about it. We have no comprehensive plan for doing anything about it. And so now some politicians do, but they're, half the country dismisses them as kooks and doesn't want to do anything and just pretend it's not happening. And a lot of municipalities in California and in Florida and other places, but especially those two, refuse to do any scientific analysis of what's going to happen in the future because it would drop real estate values. And it's like, dude, you're building on a place that's going to be underwater in 10 years, period. You're building new stuff on places that are not going to exist. What the hell are you doing? But yeah, that's how it goes. And it's a hard thing to deal with if you're from Florida or California or where have you, but you have to face the reality. That's what's going to happen. And we're not facing that. We are not facing that at all. And I'm not going to go off too far on politics because this is where I go to get away from politics.
Yeah.
But, one party seems willing to face reality, and the other party would rather live in a fantasy in the 50s. Okay. And that's not a good situation. Hopefully that gets straightened out by the election. But I hope so. I hope so.
And I feel so bad saying this because real people are going to suffer.
Oh, yeah.
But it doesn't matter what your politics are. Climate change doesn't give a shit. It's going to hit you, and you're going to have to deal with it. And if your politician isn't going to support you, it's coming out of your pocket.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. These things are real. They're real whether you accept them or not. They're going to happen. And
what was I only heard this briefly because the CTV News, it's a Canadian news, so they just briefly touched it, but someone was saying that the Democrats were causing the hurricane?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I can touch on that. That was Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who it continues to embarrass me as an American. And this isn't a political podcast, but no, I don't care. She embarrasses me as an American citizen. She is a congresswoman from some god awful place in Georgia because they keep electing her. Because she said so many things that should have ended her career years ago. And yes, she said that the Democrats have caused this to affect the election. Now, she's famous for blaming the wildfires in California on, this is her words, not mine, the Jewish space laser. Okay. The Rothschilds shot laser beams into Southern California and started the wildfires. She's that nuts. Okay. She's just a completely
Is she okay?
unstable
Like, do
person.
we need to call like mental health specialists? Like, is
In
she
a perfect
okay?
world, in a perfect world, she'd probably be getting the help she needs. In our world, she's a sitting U.S. Congresswoman. Yeah, she's
Because
that crazy. She's just out there, man.
I mean,
And yet
like
she's been reelected. Yeah.
we had a liberal politician who was saying we should invest in natural gas to fight climate change, but she never said anything like that. That is like a whole new level. Like,
Yeah, but the thing is, she also said that we're all Nazis for getting our vaccines.
oh my,
So-
oh no.
Oh, God.
So I'm gonna clash her because she needs to be called out for this. This is unacceptable. So Danielle Smith is the Trump of Canada.
Hmm.
She said that everyone who got a COVID vaccine was a Nazi.
Having gotten about the first 2 COVID shots and 4 boosters, I never remember being asked about my political views, let alone anything remotely related to anything like that. But
She
yes,
didn't
that's
even-
the level of crazy that we're dealing with.
Yeah, she didn't even get in
Just-
trouble for that. She didn't have to step down, nothing. She's still the premier of Alberta.
Wow. And it's like, how did we get to this where anybody can say just the most ridiculous things and it doesn't end your career? I remember, I admit to being kind of old. I'm solidly into my 50s. But I remember Gary Hart, and he was an American senator and a candidate for president. And he was generally considered to be brilliant and a great, good speaker. And his career was destroyed because he had an affair. I'm not endorsing having an affair, but that's it. That's all he did. And his career was over. One of our major candidates has been convicted of multiple felonies, has been found at, like, where you're not criminally convicted, but you're civilly convicted of what the hell ever? Why did Gary Hart get a chance to be president? Damn. Like, this guy can just say and do anything, and it doesn't, nobody cares. Just nobody cares.
Did you hear the craziest thing he just said about Canada?
No, please.
I did a painting about it.
Oh yeah, I'm
Oh,
making
boy.
me paint it because it's so ridiculous. It needs to be pop art. He said to the people in Los Angeles that there is a giant faucet in Canada, and we just turn it on and off, and he's gonna send lumberjacks to Canada to bring water down to Los Angeles. Legitimately,
Wow.
I was like, he's got to be joking, but like, he said it with a straight face. So I'm like, okay, maybe he's not joking.
I don't think anything that fellow says is a joke. Honestly, I think he's all dead serious, and people just don't react to it. And it's like, good Lord, what the hell are you doing? So don't turn that faucet, okay? Good Lord. That's a whole other level of crazy I haven't heard. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
every day.
I had to get
You know?
AJ to paint it because I was like, it's so ridiculous. This needs to be a painting in my house. Like, it's
Yes,
absolutely
yes.
ridiculous.
Oh my God. At the same time, I'm not even surprised. I'm like, wow, one more, add that onto the pile. What the hell? I don't know what happened to us as a country.
It's like I can't even follow his thought process because I can be like a faucet, like our waterfalls, they can be like a bathtub, but then he started talking about lumberjacks, and I was like, wait, how did he get to that thought process? Like I guess he was like Canada lumberjacks, Canada.
It's crazy. The one that's hard for me, and yeah, we're getting a little political here, folks.
That's
Either
okay.
you're
It's absolutely
you're probably
relevant to the book. Even the climate change stuff is relevant to the book. So we haven't gone
well,
off topic.
and I tried to add, and I hope you caught it, a little bit of humor in there.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
With Tucker Carlson and what's her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of that I just did for fun because
Yeah.
this is not a leaden serious book. It's serious, but it has some humor in it, and I tried to put that in there. And what I said about the guy who's totally not Tucker Carlson and the woman who's totally not, oh God, what's her name? The
Palin?
Fox. No, she's a Fox commentator. It's not so, you know who she is if you saw
Yeah.
her.
Oh, I know what part you're talking. Oh my God. Okay, wait. Can I just talk about that really quick?
Sure, feel free.
Okay, where is it? I gotta find that. Let's see. Oh, it's under Bobby Perkins. Popularity. Okay. So first and foremost, I added this to my artwork. I love squirrel news. I was like,
Squirrel
nope.
news. Certainly not Fox News. It's just squirrel news.
And where's the book's right there. Can you grab it? Because I have to read this passage. It was too much to write down. Because I love this this really I love this so much. Okay, so Bobby Perkins is going around Robert Perkins is going around performing miracles and doing things, and he's appearing. So
and if I can just butt in for 2 seconds.
Yes, go ahead.
When I write fiction, I have to be able to visualize it in my head. The main character, the prophet, whatever he may be, Robert Perkins, is, oh God, it's Kenan Thompson. He looks just like Kenan Thompson. I imagine Kenan Thompson doing all of this. So if they ever make a movie, Kenan Thompson must be the guy. Okay. So Kenan Thompson shows up, and go ahead.
That makes me love it more because I love him. So Robert Perkins seems to have this ability to memorize people and make them do things they normally wouldn't do. So Brent Tucker is the anchor man, and he's making him speak truths. So Brent Tucker seemed literally unable to stop talking or to control what he was saying. Fine. Fucking fine. I don't know how you magically got in here, but heads are going to roll over the shit. You want the truth? Fine. This entire show, this entire network is a huge money-making operation. The owners perfected a system years ago. We find out what old white people want to hear, and we tell it to them over and over. I don't care whether any of it is true or not. You have no idea how much money I make doing this. I have a fucking bachelor's degree in political science, and I make just under $1 million a year. If the dumbasses we appeal to buy all this shit, I couldn't care less. It's not my job to educate a bunch of rubes. It's my job to entertain them by reinforcing their beliefs. And I'm damn good at it. That passage hit so many emotions, and like
that's one of the things I'm most proud of. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love that so much.
And I think that's reality. That's literally what he's doing. Okay. And his co-host, God, her name escapes me.
I have it here. Molly, where is it?
I mean, that's her fictional name because
the real one. Okay.
Yeah, I forget who the real one is, but I think you know who I mean. you'd know it if I said it. I just can't come up with it right now. But yeah. She has quite a bit to say too, because he is like that Wonder Woman's lasso that puts around you and you have to tell the truth.
Yep.
And you can't stop yourself from saying what you really mean.
Yep.
And yeah. Give me 1 second. I just want to look this up. Laura Ingram, that's who that is. Of course, it's not Laura Ingram. It's Molly something, but you know what I'm saying. It's satire.
Awesome.
Somehow that seems to be a selling point. We used to have like guardrails that, okay. We've always had people on the extreme right. I mean, throughout American history, we always had that. We had the silver shirts in the 30s who were basically Nazis, but their leader went to prison at the beginning of World War II. We've always had people like that, but they always lost. You know what I mean? Like George Wallace ran for president, but he didn't win. He wasn't really competitive. You know, he was a third party guy. There are always third party people out there being weird. Now, one of the major parties is that. And that's hopefully. And I am hopeful. I honestly, I don't even believe the polls. I think the polls have been inaccurate because people don't answer the phone like they used to. You can tell how old somebody is by whether they answer the phone all the time. Because I grew up in the world of you have to answer the phone. It might be the police, it might be a relative, it might be anything. Caller ID changed our world more than it ever gets credit for. And after I got caller ID, no, I screen my calls like everybody else who's under a certain age. But so it skews polls that do telephone questions skew towards older, whiter people. And you get a different picture than what's really going on. Because I get very few polls on my cell phone. And everybody under a certain age tends to be cell only and tends to screen their calls. And I think there's not a conspiracy behind it. It's just, I don't think the methodology works the way it did 30 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of, and I don't know if you're going to get the reference here, but Dewey beats Truman going on, that they did I think it was the New York Times, I could be wrong, but it was a famous paper, did a telephone survey in like 1948 and found that the Republican candidate, Thomas Dewey, definitely beat the current president, Harry Truman. What they didn't realize was that basically only rich people had phones then. So rich people, amazingly, were Republican. So the Republican guy won. But then when the actual vote came out, it was the opposite. I think there's kind of the reverse of that they're not getting a genuinely scientific survey of the American people. I cannot believe that my fellow Americans are all going to get together and, figuratively speaking, commit political suicide. I don't believe that's going to happen. Okay, I actually believe the opposite, that the Democrats are going to win. They're going to win solidly, like a thumping. Okay, not only is Harrison Walz going to win the presidency, but they're going to win both houses of Congress, and there's going to be a rearrangement because the Republicans are going to see that this crazy crap doesn't work. People don't want that. There's like 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 Americans who are into that, but that doesn't win elections, you know? And I am so impressed. And yeah, we've gotten totally political. We're just going to roll with it. Okay. It's fine.
That's
what it is.
fine.
Folks, it's a week and a half before the election. We're just going to do it. Okay.
I'm just going to say real quick thing, like people who complain about politics and like paranormal and stuff. I have a friend who's trans. They should not be afraid of which bathroom he has to use.
Absolutely.
So Like, politics will always come into it because to say don't be political is a privilege.
Oh, it's a big one. It just means politics doesn't really affect you now,
Yeah.
and it's not a political podcast, but I can't deny a reality that's happening right now, and there is no big faucet that the Canadians turn on to flood us or something. It doesn't happen like that. But yeah, so I honestly think that it's going to go a lot better than people. I don't think it's neck and neck. I really don't. Maybe that's just arrogance that I don't think my fellow Americans are that dumb. Okay, I'm keeping hope alive that we're not that stupid. Um, I and what really impressed me was the Republicans for Harris that have come out, and some pretty heavy hitters have come out, and I can't think of a time when that happened previously in my lifetime. I can't think of when the opposition said, no, we're definitely voting for the other party's candidate. In 2016 and 2020, they said, well, we're not voting for anybody for president. We're just voting for Congress and stuff. We're not voting for president. Now they're actually saying, no, we're voting for the Democratic candidate. That's almost unheard of. I can't think of when that happened before. Maybe with FDR pre-World War II, it's possible. But and I know I've talked a lot, but I just want to throw this one thing in there. The Trump movement calls itself America First. What was the last movement that called itself America First? Wait, there were a bunch of neo-Nazis who wanted to keep America from fighting Hitler. Okay, that's literally true. Anybody can go look that up. That was America First in the 30s and very early 40s with Lindbergh. Okay, they wanted to keep America out of World War II because they liked Hitler. That's it. That was America First. Gee, funny thing to come up again. Amazing. Again, if they tell you to your face who they are, accept it, believe them. Yeah, that's who they are.
Yep.
They like Hitler. Okay, that's in their rhetoric. That's in everything they say. That's it's just crazy. And you guys aren't getting it. I live in a battleground state. Okay, every 8 minutes there's a political ad. Okay, if I watch network TV, it's just non-stop political ads. The Democrats have a plethora of different things they talk about, like creating jobs and helping small business and, improving the economy for everybody. The Republicans have two things that they are beating to death. One is Mexican immigrants are going to kill you. They mentioned 3 guys. I mean, there's like 11 million undocumented immigrants here. They have 3 that they constantly mention that murdered Americans. Okay, yes, 3 people did that. Okay, they're all caught. They're all in prison. That's what happened. Okay, yes, out of 11 million, you've got 3. Okay, also, God, they are so anti-trans. It's insane. It's a hate campaign. It wouldn't. I don't believe it'd be illegal in Canada. I don't believe it would be illegal in Canada.
It would be completely illegal here because it would be considered a hate crime.
Yeah. In
constant
Canada,
hate speech.
they're really framing it in a way that they're trying to protect children. So, like, it's very guarded how they say it.
They're using children, protecting the children as a platform for transphobic rhetoric. And
absolutely. And it's super trans. It's over the top, man. It's unreal.
They're towing the line of what is considered legal and not legal. And a few of them stepped over that line and they were asked, retract that statement or we're going to charge you.
Yeah, because we do have a hate speech law. So, like,
wow, it is very different. Because, we don't have much of any limits. And good Lord, the things, they're just beaten to death. And it's like, dude, the big issue that they keep harping on, I've seen 100 of these ads this week. This is not an exaggeration. Um, Inmates who are transgender in federal prison get gender reassignment surgery paid for by tax money. That's a fact. That's harped on incessantly. That's talked about like it's this huge issue, even though the number of people that want that is vanishingly small. And what people don't seem to recall is that convicts in prison get all their medical care paid for by taxpayers' dollars because no shit, they're in prison. Their dental care is taken care of. If they need heart surgery, it's taken care of. If they get cancer and need treatment, it's taken care of. That's what you get when you put somebody in prison. You have to pay for all their medical needs. That's not new information. They get dialysis. They get whatever the hell they need because you're keeping them in prison. So yes, they also get that kind of surgery. If you have a doctor that's going to sign off that you need that it's a medical necessity, yeah, you'll get that. This has been played up into an issue that if you don't live in the states that are getting those commercials, it sounds completely crazy. But I'm hearing it like when I say every 8 minutes, that's not an exaggeration. As long as I watch TV, I'm hearing it every time, over and over and over. It's like, who gives a crap? Okay, there are so few people that even want that, and then they have to have medical like diagnosis, and then they eventually get it, but they get everything else too. They get all the medical care. So, what are we talking about? Why is this an issue? And we have real issues to face. We have a lot of things going on: climate change, the economy, all sorts of things. I had the good fortune of living in the city where the Republican convention happened. Good Lord, I picked up extra water and just said, like, we're not leaving the house, okay? These people are crazy. Fortunately, they were contained tightly within a security perimeter, but they did have to shut down the courthouse and everything like that. And God, it was just a total shit show, to be blunt. Fortunately, if you didn't go downtown, they sure as hell weren't coming to you because they're all terrified of Milwaukee. Probably because of stuff that Trump said. They didn't really leave the compound. And yeah, it was the mayor. The mayor thought we'd make a lot of money out of it, but I don't think at the end, I think it was probably a net loss because a lot of people didn't want to go through what it took to get to the compound, to go to the restaurants and stuff, bars and what have you. And I don't think much of any money was made by companies that actually operate out of Milwaukee. They did a lot of stuff from the more distant suburbs where the Republican base is, but that's where the money went. It didn't go to Milwaukee. And it was a wreck. Oh my God. Yeah, that was a real drag. I noticed early on that Milwaukee got this by default because Nashville, of all places, it came down to Milwaukee or Nashville. Now, Nashville's a deeply Republican city. And they said, the Nashville City Council said, nope, that's fine. We don't want it. Milwaukee can have it. It's cool. Which seemed a strange thing for them. They have a big tourist industry. That's why we're going there in a week and a half,
Yeah.
They do tourist stuff all the time. And they're also, their city government is quite right wing. I mean, that's just a fact. And they did not want any part of that. Nope. Milwaukee can have it. And we got it for what it's worth, but we didn't get anything out of it. So,
No,
man, have we gone pretty far afield?
That's
Yeah.
technically not, because the book brings up politics and everything. So
Oh, yes.
that's the thing. The book is not just a sci-fi book.
Yeah.
It's definitely a book like you would want to like. If I was a teacher, I'd make my students study this and write. What do they call it? Persuasive arguments.
Yeah. For either.
And I think all public school teachers should have that attitude. And buy my book by all means. And don't worry, as soon as they do it, 10 states are going to ban it. So,
Yep.
The one thing
That's the way it goes.
I
If
know.
you're banned, you're doing good.
Is there anything you want to discuss before we let you go to bed?
No, hey, thanks so much for having me on. This has been awesome. I mean, hey, I'd like people to buy my book. I'd like them to check it out. But most of all, I got to spend a couple hours talking with two very good friends of mine and had a wonderful time. And I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in Nashville. That's basically what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thanks for having me on. Thanks for everything we talked about. The title is Cosmic Collision, people. So look it up. It's available on Amazon. It's pretty cheap. And it's not that long that you'll waste your life reading it, but it's also pretty cheap. And I feel it brings up a bunch of very interesting topics that I wanted to talk about. And like I said, there's no filler. You just get straight to the meat. And that's how I write. And I think a lot of people will like it. But yes, most of all, thanks for having me on. Thanks for having this discussion. It's been wonderful. And I really appreciate the both of you.